Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news. Hey Lions fans, this is a moment you've been waiting for, right? The NFC North has been a battleground for years, but it seems like we're on the verge of a seismic shift. Now, I'm talking about a storyline that might sound a bit surreal, but it's very real in the world of NFL power dynamics. And it involves none other than one of the league's most electrifying defensive stars, Micah Parsons. Yes, that's right. Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys superstar, has been the heartbeat of their defense since he arrived at the Star 4 seasons ago. And if you've been paying attention, you know that few players across the league have had such a tangible, game-changing impact on the field. His explosiveness, his relentless drive, and his ability to disrupt opposing offenses has made him a cornerstone for the Cowboys. But now, what if I told you that all this could shift, and Detroit might be at the center of it? That's right. Rumors and reports are swirling that Parsons could be headed to the NFC North, and more specifically, to the Detroit Lions. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this just speculation? Are we really talking about a player of Parsons' caliber potentially suiting up for the Lions? Well, let's dive into the details and set the scene for what could be one of the most shocking offseason developments in recent NFL history. First, it's important to understand the context. Parsons, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner, is entering a crucial phase of his career. The kind of impact he makes on every game is unlike many others. When he's on the field, the Cowboys' defense transforms into one of the league's most formidable units. He's a game-wrecker, a true force of nature. And as he approaches what is nearly certain to be a massive contract extension, one that could easily exceed $40 million per year, the landscape of his future with Dallas becomes a hot topic. Now, you might ask, why are the Cowboys and Parsons seemingly at odds? Well, the NFL is no stranger to contract disputes, and Dallas has a reputation for being cautious with their big-money contracts. They've shown patience and a certain level of reluctance to hand out the kind of megadeal Parsons deserves. Last season, we saw this play out with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, where extensions were finalized only hours before kickoff. It's a game of negotiation, of patience, and sometimes of playing hardball. Parsons, on his side, has remained loyal to Dallas, showing up to minicamps, participating minimally but clearly signaling that he's focused on his football, not on the contract drama. But behind the scenes, the talks are ongoing and the tension is palpable. And here's where things get really interesting for Lions fans. Because, according to recent reports, including some from Heavy's Ann Erickson, there's speculation that Parsons could be heading to Detroit in a blockbuster trade. Now, I know it sounds almost too good to be true, right? A player like Parsons in a Lions uniform. But let's look at what could be involved. The Cowboys, in this hypothetical deal, would receive a second-round and a fourth-round pick. Not a bad haul for a player of Parsons' caliber. And for the Lions, that could mean adding a game-changing presence on defense, someone who could instantly elevate the entire unit. Pairing Parsons with Aiden Hutchinson, who's been developing into a star himself, would give Detroit one of the most feared pass-rushing duos in the league. Imagine that, Parsons bringing his relentless energy from the right side, Hutchinson anchoring the other edge, and a defensive front that would challenge the best offensive lines in the league. But let's be real for a moment. No matter how tempting this sounds, it's probably more of a fantasy at this point. The NFL is a league built on negotiations, relationships, and a lot of moving parts. The Cowboys' owner Jerry Jones, known for his shrewdness and sometimes unpredictable moves, has a lot on his plate. Repairing the relationship with Parsons' agent, ironing out the details of any extension, and making decisions that balance the team's future with their immediate competitiveness. These are all complex puzzles. But as Cowboys insider Mike Fisher pointed out, offering just a second and fourth-round pick for Parsons might be seen as a peak silliness, especially considering his importance to Dallas. Now, why would the Cowboys even consider such a trade? Well, it's not just about the picks. It's about the value of a player who provides leadership, production, and a game-changing presence on defense. The Cowboys are a team that often plays the long game when it comes to contracts, and sometimes they hold out for what they believe is fair. But let's not forget, Parsons is under contract for a few more years, and his loyalty to Dallas is well known. Still, the NFL is a business, and if the right offer comes along, it could shake things up. And this is where the Detroit Lions come into focus. The Lions have been building a defense that's on the rise, but they're missing that one elite player who can truly turn the tide in their favor. A player like Parsons could be that difference maker. Imagine him lining up next to Hutchinson, creating pressure from both sides, forcing turnovers, sacking quarterbacks, and energizing the entire team and fan base. The Lions have been a team on the rise, with a young core, a solid quarterback in Goff, and a coaching staff that's known for developing talent. But adding a superstar pass rusher like Parsons could be the final piece to push Detroit over the edge and into serious NFC contenders. Of course, fans should be cautious about getting ahead of themselves. This kind of blockbuster trade, if it ever happens, would be a franchise-altering move. It's a rare event in the NFL, and it would come with its share of negotiations, team politics, and strategic planning. But it's also a testament to how much the league is evolving, how competitive and cutthroat the NFC North is becoming. The Vikings, Bears, and Packers are all making moves, and Detroit needs to stay ahead of the curve. Now, let's talk about what this means for the Lions' season. If they manage to add Parsons, they instantly become one of the most feared defenses in the league. It's not just about the sacks. It's about the pressure, the leadership, and the ability to change the entire dynamic of a game. With Parsons, Detroit's defense would be a nightmare for opposing offenses, especially in crucial moments. And that, in turn, would give Goff and the Lions' offense more opportunities to control games and finish drives. It's a recipe for a potential deep playoff run, maybe even a Super Bowl appearance if everything clicks. But of course, we have to temper expectations. The NFL is a league where the unexpected happens all the time. We've seen trades, signings, and surprises that nobody saw coming. The Detroit Lions, historically, have been a team that defies expectations, especially in recent years. Under head coach Dan Campbell, they've transformed into a tough, physical, and disciplined team. Their culture has shifted, and the team is now a serious contender in the NFC. Adding a player like Parsons would be the kind of move that cements their status as a top-tier team for years to come. And speaking of the team's recent performance, Detroit has been steadily improving on defense. They've drafted well, developed young talent, and brought in veterans to stabilize the unit. But what they really need is a game changer, someone who can elevate the whole group. Parsons fits that bill perfectly. His explosiveness off the edge, his ability to read plays, and his leadership on and off the field are exactly what a team like Detroit needs to take the next step. And considering how the NFC North is becoming increasingly competitive, with the Vikings rebuilding and the Packers trying to find their footing, Detroit has a real shot at dominating the division if they make the right moves. Now, let's not forget the bigger picture here. The NFL offseason is always full of rumors, speculation, and strategic moves. Some of these stories turn out to be true, and some fade away like smoke. But the idea of Parsons in Detroit isn't just a fantasy. It's a reflection of how aggressive teams are becoming in pursuing superstar talent. The Lions, who have been patient and strategic in their rebuild, might see this as the final piece to push them over the top. And for fans, it's an exciting prospect, a chance to see their team elevate to new heights. In the end, what's most important is that the Lions keep building, keep drafting smartly, and stay hungry. The NFL is a league where the balance of power shifts rapidly, where one big trade or signing can change everything. Parsons to Detroit, if it happens, would be a game changer, a statement that the Lions are serious contenders for the Super Bowl. And even if it doesn't happen, knowing that Detroit is in the conversation for such a move tells us a lot about how far this team has come and how much potential they have moving forward. So Lions fans, keep your eyes peeled. The offseason is just getting started, and the NFL never sleeps. Big moves are on the horizon, and the possibility of adding a superstar like Parsons could be the spark that ignites Detroit's championship aspirations. As we watch this story unfold, remember that the NFL is always full of surprises, and the Lions are positioning themselves to be at the center of it all. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's see what the future holds for our beloved team. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending, the latest Detroit Lions news to you. It's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you believe Parsons could really be headed to Detroit? Would he fit perfectly into Dan Campbell's aggressive defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Lions. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, rumors, and insights into the NFL and especially our Detroit Lions. So, stay tuned, keep the passion alive, and let's keep dreaming big. The future is bright, and it might just be about to get even brighter with a move that could define the next era of Lions football.